Well, a while back, I put out a video about this thin blue line flag, and actually, I don't like it, to tell you the truth. Somebody goes, "You're anti-cop." Well, I'm anti-freaking authoritarian that's on a power trip, basically. That's really what I got to tell you. Now, I'm going to tell you this thing about now, this is pretty much typical all over the country. It's not everybody that's in a police force, but the problem is just about anytime somebody that's a cop does something really wrong, what happens is they either get put on administrative leave, or they get to retire with full pay and benefits, or maybe they get to resign and get employed at another county like nothing happened. If somebody else did the same things that these people do, you get hammered. Now, this was in Broward County, where, just recently with Sheriff Scott Israel and all that garbage. This is an officer in Broward County, South Florida. Officer accused of running a child fight club breaks a 14-year-old boy's nose with his fist on video. Now, they got him on video. Now, you got to figure 99% of the stuff that happens is not on video. And everybody knows what goes on. The Florida officer was captured on surveillance footage, savagely attacking a small child, breaking his nose in 2 places, and he was allowed to quietly retire with no charges. So, the prosecutors have ruled that an officer slugged a skinny 14-year-old kid. Now, this skinny 14-year-old kid was like a juvenile delinquent, but the thing is, he already had control of the kid, and he didn't need to bust his nose when he already had control of him. In other words, it was a message to the other kids, this is what's going to happen to you if you freaking get out of line. So, power trip. So prosecutors have ruled that an officer who slugged a skinny 14-year-old child in the face so hard that it broke his nose in 2 places was justified. This is what aggravates me the most about the whole deal. Because if the cops got in trouble, or they got something happened to them, anything, but you know what happens? It's the thin blue line is like the gang. That's what the hell it is. It's the whole state. Protect and serve the politicians, the city commissioners, and all those county commissioners, and whatever rules and regulations that bring in money to the state and the counties and cities. That's what they're protecting and serving. Who are they kidding? So, the cop was allowed to quietly resign and keep his pension. So, of course, the father had plenty to say about this. And what's more, there's no record of prosecutors ever interviewing Andrew, and according to the closeout memo, they never talked to the boy's father either. So, in other words, prosecutors just said, we're going to take care of the cop. And even though the kid was on the ground, he had to punch this kid. He already had him down on the ground, and he already had him subdued. He had to actually bust his nose in 2 places. And what he was doing here, what they were doing, was they're running a fight club. They're pitting juveniles against each other and running a fight club, I'm assuming with bets and stuff. So, they always protect the officers that cross the line, hurt children, beat children up, even when they're captured on video. That's what happens. The guard beat him into submission, and the state attorney agreed with, that's okay. So, this is what aggravates me the most about this stuff, because I realize cops are people, what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? Find a bunch of freaking anointed saints and put them in a uniform? It doesn't work like that. They're coming from the pool of people that are the rest of the people in the community. The problem is, when they do something wrong, nothing happens to them. Even when they got it on video. I think this is a desecration of the American flag, and this is a real desecration of the Confederate flag. Oh my God, I didn't believe, this is horrible. I don't want to show this anymore. Now, one of the guys I want to really blame, where I think it really falls on his right at him all the way, is Florida Governor Rick Scott. This guy is so crooked. And I'm a lifelong Republican. I could be labeled a conservative some ways, but then again, I don't think I'm a conservative in a lot of other ways. because the conservatives kind of aggravate the crap out of me many times. I don't know where the hell I fit in. I don't know if it's libertarian. I don't even know if I fit in with that. But I just think there's way too many rules and too many crooked politicians out there, and they ought to leave us the hell alone. We don't need these jerks. Rick Scott, though, this guy, when he got out of HCA as CEO, Hospital Corporation of America, he got over $200 million worth of stock equities. And it was never, that's in Wikipedia. It's actually reported there. But it was never reported when he ran for office that was part of his wealth, which is against the law, which would have made the election null and void, although he's already been governor for so long now he wants to be senator. But, what happened, remember when he had the thing down in Parkland, right, in Florida? This guy caved into all the demands and stuff, too. He's strictly a weasel politician to the max, all the way. And there's massive amounts of corruption in Florida, not only in the police, but also in the medical system and the judiciary system, all over the place. And this guy is just raking in the bucks left and right. And here he is with Donald Trump. Now, I'm not going to knock Donald Trump that much because compared to Hillary Clinton, I chose Trump. But I know he's not Mr. Sainthood, and all these politicians are all out for me, and me. All of them. Scott's all out for Scott, and Trump is out for Trump, and Clinton's out for Clinton. And don't worship any of these jerks, period. I don't care, it's blue team against the red team and all this garbage. My point on this is that, obviously, not only are the district attorneys and prosecutors protecting the police, and besides the police are protecting the police, but also the politicians are protecting the police, and the politicians are protecting each other. The only thing they got where they work against each other, it's when it's an intramural contest to go after a position that can bring them line their pockets more, like when they win office. And also, when I see this flag of the state of Florida, it says on the bottom, "In God we trust." You know what I always interpret that as? God meaning, the reality of it is this. God isn't what, the figurative, sense where, talking about, a supreme being that, justice for all and honor and integrity and do unto others as you would do as they would do unto you and all this kind of garbage. No. And God we trust means the state is God. That's what it means. That's how I interpret it. I think it's like this all over the place, pretty much. It's like this in New Jersey. It's like this in California. I don't know. It's everywhere, for crying out loud. And in a lot of ways, I get aggravated at the liberal media for not bringing out some of the things that, and maybe I can't bring this out. I don't know. I don't know what the parameters for YouTube are anymore with their advertiser unfriendly, whatever the hell they got. But, even this guy like here, the Young Turks, whatever the hell it is, he's supposedly, I think he's a fake liberal, to tell you the truth. He's a liberal for the money. But, this guy, he's too afraid to put out a lot of stuff, too. He's afraid to criticize, excessive police powers or excessive state powers. He only goes against whatever the stupid conservatives say. And actually, I don't agree with a lot of conservatives because conservatives are like pro-police, pro-military. And, I always think, wait a minute, aren't you supposed to be Christian? Isn't Jesus that guy that said forgive everybody for everything? So why the hell are you having all these dumb laws that bust people over weed or something, It's a bunch of garbage, man. And, I'm not for, like, this type of stuff, hurting and doing something bad to police officers. I'm not for that either. But, even when you look at these conservatives, this stuff like the NFL, I don't ever look at it. I don't even give it 10 seconds of watch time in 10 years. I don't watch any of this garbage. But you'll have literally millions of, middle-aged conservatives spending hours watching NFL. And they're paying these guys checks. And they disagree with this stuff. So why are you doing that? I don't get it. You see, that's the other side of the coin, too. Because if we really wanted to tear up the freaking powers, it's the banks, it's the politicians. You know, anybody gets a lot of money, or they're newly into money. Oh, I bank with J.P. Morgan Chase. I bank with Mellon Bank. I bank with Bank of America. They support the garbage, which in turn supports the politicians, which in turn supports law enforcement, which enforces policies and regulations and fees and laws that are lucrative to the state and the politicians. You know, here's the conservative. I just want to thank you, to police officers and all those that put their lives in danger every day to protect us. You still have people supporting you. Well, I'm not for them or against them, but let me say this. You know, there's kind of a myth with the police officers that their lives are that much danger. Statistically, this is absolutely truth. A bartender and a guy that, garbage collector, they have more dangerous job. They have more occupational hazards than the police officer. And most people don't give respect to garbage collectors, and they don't give respect to bartenders. And to tell you the truth, probably, I don't drink or nothing, but I can tell you, I think bartenders probably done a lot of good have probably done a lot more good to people than the average cop did, because they talk to people. They're kind of like counselors, and you know what I mean. That's what they do, right? But today, everything that's going on today is more and more state power. But what gets me is, like, they got the police, they're like almost like the military today. They dress in military garb. They got these trigger-happy SWAT team people. And, the other side of it is that they're not accountable for any of their actions, because the state or the prosecutors or the district attorney, state district attorney, or the politicians is always going to protect them. Unless there's a public outcry in a specific situation, then a politician might back down. But overall, the prevailing policy is always to protect all police action. All the time. This is screwed up, man. And, there wouldn't be that many crimes out there, because if it wasn't for, the big nanny welfare state, because people would just have to work and they'd have to be busy just getting their own stuff. A lot of times people have, when you give people money and just, for like food assistance, housing assistance, this kind of crap, it's like they just got all kinds of idle time on their hands, and that's the kind of people that really cause the problems. The people that don't cause the problems are the people that are too busy, that, they're working 50 to 60 hours a week, and they're coming home real late, and you got to do a bunch of things on the weekend and stuff, just to keep their head afloat. Those kind of people never cause any problems. Actually, they're the ones paying all these people's salaries. But if you really wanted to cut down on the crime, just stop the big welfare nanny state and make sure all those people that are in a big welfare nanny state, they're going to have to learn something. And I know a lot of times they say, well, how are you going to just learn it? Well, you know what? Most people just learn stuff by trial and error. You always find a way. You always find a way to do something that is useful for somebody else, that you can exchange it for money. And, I'm not too big on what that is. I mean, like, in other words, I'm not too big on regulating things. I know it's very difficult to actually be an entrepreneur today, in today's regulated society. But, I mean, okay, I'll give you an example. I don't smoke any weed or anything, and I never have, right? But say, for instance, if they just made all that stuff legal, and you were some female out there and you knew how to grow all these potted plants, you could sell weed plants, go ahead, go for it. You're a horticulturalist in weed, fine. You got some money. People would buy it, right? So, it would just keep, that would keep, crime down, because people, when they get money for nothing, that just leaves, it gives them so much time to be out doing all these different things that they're not focused in on their job and trying to survive, because they know they're going to survive, because they already got something coming in no matter what. That's where a lot of crime actually comes from. If you're too busy just freaking trying to survive, maybe you're going to commit a crime because you have to survive. But then again, in that case, it's more like a crime that makes sense, okay? You know, you had to steal some food because I'm starving, right? Fine, you know, that makes sense. But in the other case, a lot of times people are committing crimes because, you know, they just get involved in a lot of different things because they just got too much time on their hands. I think that's what it is. And, you know, that's the one thing that's given a lot of justification to the police force. That we got some really heinous criminals in our society. But if you look at a society like Japan, whereby, you know, it's a homogeneous society whereby, you know, nobody gets really bailed out in Japan. You know, if you want to be a drunk and ruin your life and, you know, you just kind of get pushed off to the side somewhere where they don't see you, and you go ahead, take your bottle and drink yourself to death. That's what you want to do. Fine. And they don't have, like, you know, 50 million programs to give this person, you know, housing, food, and, you know, all this counseling and kind of crap. And, you know, then the person goes out and commits crimes. In other words, in Japan, it's more like, you know, we don't bail you out. Japan, you got to work. If you don't work, you don't survive. And actually, with everybody working hard, everybody's got more, and actually they got more free time. It's actually, Japan is pretty close to a utopian society that I could see on this earth. As far as like what's going on in the United States, I think both the liberals and the conservatives are screwed up. And this guy Rick Scott is one of the most heinous Republican quote-unquote conservatives I know of, and he's probably going to guarantee that Florida has a liberal communist Democrat governor in 2018 just because this guy was so screwed up. So, you know, but, you know, my topic of this video really was on the police shootings. The police get away with everything. They get away with everything, man. And it's like when they finally get caught on film, it's like they don't, you know, nothing happens to them. And, you know, the liberal media doesn't even bring this out. You know, you don't see the Young Turks or Anderson Cooper bringing this stuff out. They don't bring this type of stuff out. The liberals, they don't even bring this out. What the hell's the matter with them? They're supposed to be for human rights and, you know, stopping, you know, abuses of, you know, people's, you know, day-to-day activities or whatever the hell you call it. You know, they're supposed to be go against that type of stuff. You know, they're supposed to be against the authoritarian police state. The liberals are, I mean, both the liberals and the conservatives seem to be for the authoritarian police state. It's kind of disgusting. I'm not for it. I'm not even for, like, the bloated, stupid military we got today. It's asinine. And if you actually been in the military a while, if you ever were, you can realize there's just more fraud, waste, and abuse in the military than you can ever believe. And anybody, I could see if you're a cop and you started out being a cop and you got all hoodwinked into the Madison Avenue type things about it, like, you know, I'm here to preserve and protect the public. I'm here to, you know, help people and, you know, stop crimes and get the bad guys. But, you know, after a while, and you've been in there a while, you know what it really is. And I guess what happens is that's the only thing you know how to do, so you're stuck with it. You know, that's what happens. But still, there's a lot of different things you could do as a human being, besides being a cop, that you can freaking stick it to the guys in there that are the cops, that are the bad ones. And that's what people ought to do. But you know what? For the most part, I don't see any of the cops doing that stuff anymore. They all stick with each other, and the district attorneys stick with them, the politicians stick with them, and not only the conservatives stick with them, but the liberals stick up for them too. Unless there's a little angle they got to play. But generally speaking, they do not, you know, go against the authoritarian state. The liberals don't either. It's pretty disgusting, man. I mean, somebody might label me a libertarian, but I don't even think I'm that. I mean, common sense guy, basically, you know? I mean, you know, back in the day, before there was cops, it was people that were in charge of defending themselves. Cops were considered an auxiliary force, not the primary force. And most people thought of the cops as a joke, compared to, like, you know, who the hell are you? What are you going to do? Call these guys after the fact? What the hell are they? You know, what are they here for? You know, they come in after the fact, then they write down a report. Yeah, this is what happened. Yeah, whatever. And you know, basically they're big. I don't know. They're just a big money racket for the state. That's all they are. Ask Rick Scott. He's what he's about. He's a coach. And I never voted Democrat in my life. I guess if I was old enough back when JFK was running in 1960, I would have voted for him. But I never voted for a Democrat in my entire life, And I can tell you, Rick Scott's garbage. He's a Republican, okay? He's garbage. Basically, I tell you what it is. Most politicians in general are garbage. But politicians, district attorneys, prosecutors, city councilmen, county councilmen, they all work together. They're all in a racket, all with the police. The police might be on the lowest rung of the ladder for getting the most money and having to do the dirtiest jobs. In other words, a politician don't have to freaking do all the crap the police have to do, to get their money. But, they all work together. They all work together. And anybody that's got half a brain knows that not only, say, if you know a cop, you could probably get away with a lot more stuff. But say like your family is a judge, you got a judge in your family, say you got a police chief in your family, say you got a district attorney or prosecutor in your family, or an attorney in your family, you're going to get away with all kinds of crap. Everybody knows this shit. And if you got the money for attorneys, well, you're going to get away with a lot more stuff too. It's what it is. It's who you know. I'm kind of lost all respect for this, great thing that we got here in the United States. This flag is terrible. I mean, the thin blue line flag. This does not, if you're going to have a police flag, do a police flag. Don't take this flag and make it into your flag. You know what I mean? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Even if I was 100%, because I'm not like all anti-cop, but I realize what burns me up is they get away with, the bad cops, when they get blatantly caught on video, they get away with everything, almost every single time. Not only do they just get away with it, but they get their retirement, and, the victim is like a piece of crap. If you did 1/10 of what the cops do, they'd nail you to the freaking wall. That's why I don't like that. That's why I'm like, and it's not just the police. It's like the whole way everything's interwoven. That's really what it is. Now, I guess if you're a good cop, you're probably not going to be on the force too long because, they're going to screw you over. The guys that are, your brother's going to set you up to get shot or some shit. They'll tell you to go walk in a dark alleyway and, yeah, we got your back. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're a good cop, you're probably going to get screwed. So, I mean, I don't know what the hell to tell you if you're a good cop. I don't know what to tell you. There is no solution. And I know it's not, I know the problem isn't like just the police. Like I said, it's all interwoven. Politicians. Hey, the police are like the collection agency. Serve and protect. Serve and protect the state, the government, the county commissioners, and all this other garbage, man. I remember way back in the day, I'm going a little too long on this, but I remember way back in the day. Now, I remember when I was 18 and the legal age was drinking, it was 18. I was drinking then. It was a brand new thing to me. I was like, yeah, drinking. Then I got out of it after a while. I was like, yeah, it's a waste of time. But, we used to drink and drive all the time. Now, I know it was illegal, but not illegal like it is today. And if you got pulled over by a cop and you're kind of like swerving over the road, the guy would just tell you, hey, just take it easy, see how far you got to go, maybe just sleep it off on the side of the road and then go or get yourself some coffee. They wouldn't, today they're all instructed to actually, freaking confiscate your car, freaking take you in, fine you thousands of dollars and all this other garbage, put you in rehab, cost you all kinds of money. Of course, the rehab would be, connected to somebody in the government that probably has their finger in it where they make money off it themselves, because it's a state rehab thing. But, private individuals like the city commissioners, county commissioners might have their finger in that shit too, or the judges. You know what I mean? So today it's cops back, I think about 50, 60 years ago, way different than it is today. It's not like the people changed, but the whole interwoven system changed. It's like They couldn't get away with half the shit they do today. People wouldn't even put up with it, man. You know? They wouldn't put up with it. But I think this flag is like really desecrating this USA flag to the max. I mean, I'm okay with having a sheriff's flag or a cop's flag, but it should be a sheriff's flag or a cop's flag, like a green, I don't know, a green flag with a sheriff's badge on it or something with, I don't know, maybe a picture of a cop up there in a corner or something. I don't know. Something like that. Not taking the USA flag and sticking a blue line through it. And don't go messing with that Confederate flag. That's definitely not right, man. Don't do that. God. Hey. And Rick Scott, why don't you go freaking move to Afghanistan and go run for politician over there or some crap, man. You'd fit right in. You're corrupt as all hell. Anyway, that's all I got to say about this stuff. And I hope, I don't know. You know, I don't even know what the hell I could do on this YouTube anymore. It's like I'm afraid to freaking do a lot of stuff because they're like, but anyway, hopefully I just gave you some information. But this example I gave you here, God, I can give you dozens of examples because I PDF'd all these articles, like cops that were cop of the year doing all this stuff, and man, it's just that when they do something wrong, nothing happens to them, man. Nothing. That's what burns me up. I don't expect that cops are going to be freaking perfect all the time. They're human, like everybody else. But when they do something wrong and then they get caught in video, the district attorney, the prosecutors, the politicians, the whole 9 yards, they just let them, okay, that's fine. What is this shit? What are we living in, a communist country here? Don't answer that. I think we do. Anyway, over now.